All right, it looks like everybody is here. So this is lecture one of three lectures. The lecture is about how to value a company. And basically, for the people that are interested in investing in JCI, after you've finished lecture one, you become part of the JCI community, meaning you can invest in JCI. There are other people that are on the call that might want to invest in JCI one day, but they're actually on the call because they want to learn a little bit more. So for them, there's another two lectures that I will be doing later on. So basically, today is the 4th October. It's 3 or 4 hours before the Springboks are playing. So I hope they're gonna it's gonna be a good one. I'm predicting the score probably gonna be 30 for the Boks and 20 for Argentina. So let's see. But let's talk business. A little bit about myself very quickly. So I started doing investing back in 2015. I've been doing this for around 10 years. But I did decide to study civil engineering actually. After finishing high school, I went to go study civil engineering. But still, while I was studying civil engineering, I was reading books, talking to mentors, um, doing research, learning as much as possible about investing in companies. In 2020, I actually did start a company known as Cron Company, but it was successful, but I didn't enjoy what I was doing. So I ended up forgetting about that company. In 2021, I went all in and decided I'm going to focus a lot more into investing. And it started to get so good where my mom and my uncle asked if they can invest in me or invest or give their funds to me to manage. And that is how the JCI company started. Um, yeah, this was at the end of 2022. I started JCI. And quick thing about JCI, JCI is a company that invests in wonderful companies, and we invest in them when they are at a good price. So there are a lot of great companies out there, but they might be expensive, so then we don't invest in them. But there are a small hand of beautiful companies that we invest in, and we have to be able to determine that they are undervalued when we invest in them. This also doesn't mean that we're going to sell them if they're overvalued. It's very difficult to find a great company. So as soon as we find one, there should be a lot of other things that tells us that we should sell it. If the stock price is overvalued, we might still keep it. And yes, if the stock falls because it was overvalued, thank goodness we have some cash on the side, then we'll buy some more. So that is what JCI is. It's also long-term based. People invest in JCI for the long term. Some of my clients see JCI money as their retirement money. So it's a very long-term company at the end of the day. So let's talk about today's class. So obviously, I'm gonna try and teach you guys as much as I can about how to value a company. There are a lot of value investors that actually stop here. One of the famous ones was Benjamin Graham, the mentor of Warren Buffett. Benjamin Graham had hundreds of stocks. If he saw a stock was undervalued, he bought it. Usually a low PE ratio with a high book value, he would buy it. Warren Buffett also invested like that, but at the end of the day, Charlie Munger came in his life and taught him, no, why would you sell a great company? So I'm going to talk about the valuing. When we go, the lecture two and lecture three goes more in detail. For example, lecture two is about earnings because we want to invest in companies that earnings is going to go up with time. Another thing we'll discuss in lecture two is the competitive advantage. And the third thing we will discuss, but we will discuss that in lecture three, is about management. Very important. So you can see where value investor, we just stop by value. We go into more detail as to what we look at in a company. So, yeah, basically, you must let me know if you're interested in lecture two and three. Send me a WhatsApp or send me an email if you found this lecture on the internet. The email is johnru@buildingenterprise.co.za. That's obviously one of my biggest investments, and I'm actually an advisor for Building Enterprises. So I use their email for that stuff. Um, yeah, very simple. When we look at value, we look at the balance sheet. When we look at earnings, we're looking at the income statement. And when we're looking at the cash flow, what is the management doing with the cash flow? We look at the cash flow statement. So you can see how we're going to look at all three statements that a company uses, all three of them. Um, and I'm going to teach you how to analyze each one through these three lectures. So firstly, today we're going to look at the balance sheet. It's actually very easy to understand. Some of these accountants try and make it a little more confusing. It's baie maklik, baie maklik. So let's talk about value investing. All right. There are three ways how you can value a company. Before I go into detail about that, let's chat a little bit about value investing. Quickly, the history. So, value investing was created by the great Benjamin Graham, the mentor of Warren Buffett. And what he basically did was, remember, these guys, they were great investors before the Great Depression. Now, in those days, the market did great. It was the good times. Champagne was flowing. It was great. But the market crashed and the market went down 90%. I mean, that is crazy. And he was one of the people managing other people's money. And during this time, he created this method of value investing or liquidation valuation for if something like that happens again with him, then he'll be safe. So that's how it basically started. I'm going to explain it now with how liquidation value works, and then you will see how that makes sense. So there's three ways how you can value a company. The first way is liquidation valuation. The second way is the discount cash flow method. The third way is determining the intrinsic value of a company. So, liquidation value, I'm going to go in a lot of detail about that. So, because this is the one that I usually do. It's one that even Warren Buffett, if he could, he would use this method, but with the big cap companies, it's very difficult to use liquidation value, so then you need to get a little bit creative, especially then you have to implement intrinsic value a lot more. But when he was my age, he would do liquidation value for everything because it worked. Back then, he didn't manage a lot of money. He could invest in small companies. So liquidation value was what he mostly did. So I'm actually going to talk about a nano cap stock. Some of you might have heard about it. It's a very small company. By small, I mean like 300 million rand, which is still big, but it's small for the stock market. The company I'm going to look at today is Calgro M3. So they do development, affordable housing, and what they also do is they own memorial parks. Creates a nice cash flow for them. It's a pretty smart business idea. Um, so I'm gonna do the calculations for Calgro. Pretty simple. So the best place to get information about Calgro is from MarketWatch. Now, this you can actually do yourself. I'm gonna show you where I get my values. It's very simple, all right? So I'm going to share my screen. Let me just check here to yeah. There we go. So this is a great way of seeing what you're going to do with the balance sheets. Quickly going to explain it to you. let's say me and you, we're sitting in a coffee shop. All right. We're having a good time, and it's there in Durbanville. Let's take Bootlegger Coffee in Durbanville by Village Square. Great place, very nice. We're sitting there and we're like, yo, it's very nice. Everybody's friendly. They're talking about they're gonna open another branch. Like it's getting busy here, eh? And the owner comes to me and you, and he sits with us, and he says, "Listen here, do you like this place?" And we both like, "Yo, yo, it's a nice place." And the owner says, "Well, I tell you what, I will sell it to you guys." And we tell the owner, "Oh, you serious?" And the owner's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Let's say, for argument's sake, he says 10 million rand. All right, maybe let's say there's a few of them in there or whatever. 10 million rand. You jump and you're like, yo, yo, we're gonna take it. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Raak rustig, raak rustig. And the owner says, what do you guys think? And we said, let's analyze this company quickly. Let's analyze this coffee shop. So after hours, the place closes, and we go and count how many tables is there, how many spoons is there, how many forks is there. We count everything. We even count how much inventory is there of coffee beans. We count everything. And remember, the tables are not going to be priced at the same price if you buy it new. It's secondhand. So we're going to adjust these values. The table cost 1,000 rand a table. We're going to make it 600 rand a table. But we write all this down. And at the end, we came to a conclusion. The conclusion was that everything in the shop we could actually sell for 12 million rand. All right. That means there's 2 million rand. So he said 10 million rand, and if we sell everything, we can get 12 million rand. That means we got to pocket 2 million rand. Um, that means we have a situation where we have something that's 20% undervalued. Now, what does this has to have to do with value investing? The same method that I just spoke about with you is what we do as value investors with a company. We go look at a company's balance sheet, its assets and its liabilities, mostly its assets, and we adjust those values. Take a photo of this, take a screenshot of this. This is from one of the books that I have, Value Investing Made Easy. Great book. Um, you can use these to help you with the ratios a little bit. So, receivables. Remember, we're working out if the company should become bankrupt tomorrow, what are we going to get for it? That's why Benjamin Graham liked it so much. Because back then, companies were going bankrupt left, right, and center. So if he used this method before the Great Depression, he would have actually made money. That is true. That is, some investors made money in the Great Depression because they bought companies with a lot of assets, hard, tangible assets, and when they went bankrupt, and everything got sold, they got money back. So yes, that is why he liked this method so much. Um, so when we look at receivables, we're working out, is this company's going to become bankrupt tomorrow? What are we going to get for it? Receivables is money that must still come in. What if some of that people do not pay you? So we adjust it around 80%. Another thing is inventory. Let's take Edgar's. They tell you there's 1 billion rand of clothes in their inventory, there in their warehouses. You go do some research, you see those clothes are from 2010. They're not 1 billion rand worth anymore. They're worth a lot less. Remember, the accountants put maybe what they paid for it down on the on the balance sheet. So it's your work as a security analysis to adjust these values. The next one is like your what you call intangible assets, goodwill. Here it says 15%. Me personally, and I've read this from books, also Warren Buffett, he takes this value out completely. So we take this whole value out completely. What we might do is, let's say we find something where it's very close to being undervalued, but not yet. We can maybe use this method to see can we prove that there is some value by these things. But you have to do a little bit more research when you do that, and that takes some more experience and so forth. So very easy. Go on Market Watch. I'm giving you a tip here. Market Watch. You can search any South African company. Um, Go to the balance sheet, which shows there. Go to current assets. Oh, sorry. Cash is 100 because cash is cash. If they've got cash in the bank, that's not going to be adjusted. Might a little bit for moving it or whatever for the transaction, but so little doesn't it really affect you. So cash, we put 100%. You don't have to adjust the cash. But go and look at the balance sheet and then go do this calculation, adjust each one, get a new assets, total assets, and then you go through the whole process. You take assets, your new assets, your adjusted assets, minus your liabilities. You get a new answer. That is your adjusted book value or adjusted equity that you take, you divide it with the outstanding shares, and then you should get a price per share. And if that price is 20% or more than the stock price, then you have an undervalued situation. There are here and there some of them. You have to go and look for them. It takes time, but that's what's so fun about investing. It takes time to find these things. If it was easy, everybody would have done it. But it's actually very easy. It just takes some time. You just need to sit and work through a list. I've worked through a list of 250 companies from the smallest South African company until I think around 10 billion, and I've worked through that list twice. So there's always opportunity to jump in, or a company that was very well and then it went down 40%. Now it falls in that category. So there's definitely opportunity out there in South Africa. But remember what I said. When it is undervalued, that's not where you can stop. You can't just go um, on this statement or this aspect. There is a lot of competition that does it that way. You don't want to fall but where they are. You want to be a little bit more unique. So you can't just stop by value. You need to go through the things I've discussed, what I'm going to discuss in lecture 2 or 3. But you understand a little bit of what it is that I do. Also, for those that are interested in investing in JCI, now you're also a little bit more interested in, or now you also understand a little bit as to the detail I go in as to find these companies. We're not finished yet. I quickly need to run through the discount cash flow method, which was the second method, and then the intrinsic value. So the discount cash flow method, it's very easy to find it. Here's another tip. You can go on a website known as Simply Wall Street. They do South African companies. On that, they give you a discount cash flow method value, which tells you what the value of the company actually is. I want to say this as much caution as possible. Use this discount cash flow method as a guide. Do not go and see, oh, the company's 20% undervalued, buy, or it's undervalued. No. Discount cash flow method, the problem with it is last year it will be 80% undervalued. This year it will be 50% overvalued. It's very volatile. I'm not a big fan. I would just use it as a guide to see maybe is there opportunity or not. Then I will go do some more research. I would prefer using liquidation valuation to prove my value. Um, yeah, exactly what I said is everything here. The last one is the intrinsic value. So the intrinsic value is not exactly a value. It's not exactly a number. Like liquidation value, we can determine exactly 5 rand is undervalued or the fair price or whatever. Of intrinsic value, it's more like determining if it's undervalued or not. Here you have to look at a few aspects. Like you look at the liquidation value, you look at the discount cash flow method, you look at is the earnings potential, you look at how does management work with cash flow. You look at all these things, and sometimes you can't even use liquidation value. But by looking at all these other things, you can determine, listen, yeah, the price that it's at is undervalued. You can also look at the future earnings. That also helps a lot determining the intrinsic value. You can't see how undervalued it is, but you can know for a fact this thing is undervalued. What I would usually do is I have this one company I invested in. Its book value was exactly the same as the stock value, but it's a beautiful company. And because it was so beautiful and so great, I thought to myself, listen here, even though it's the same price as the stock price now, if I buy now, this company is so good that I have enough evidence to say that it is actually undervalued and there is enough opportunity for it to increase the value. But this you can only do after building a lot of experience. So that's something, a best place to start for every beginner is at the liquidation value. It's so easy to calculate it. Um, Let me just put me back on the screen. Um, uh, so that you can actually see me. Well, I think you can see a piece of me. Let's go here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so book recommendations, very important. The Intelligent Investor for every any beginner investor. The Intelligent Investor, I've read it 3 times, and the fourth time I've read certain chapters. It's a great book. It's a little thick, some big words, but it's very old, but it's a classic. Okay, it's the book that basically got Warren Buffett hooked on these type of investing. The second one, Ground Rules by Miller. Also, a great book about finding small cap companies, investing where other people aren't investing. This book is about when Warren Buffett was my age, when he was in his 20s. That's how old I am, basically, for those that wondered. And the other one is Value Investing Made Easy, the same book where that ratios was in. That also gives you a little bit of info. So, yeah, that's a quick lecture that we had. And listen, if you're interested in getting part of JCI, you finished lecture one, well done for you. You are technically now part of the JCI community. Um, yeah, give me a call, give me a WhatsApp, then we can discuss it from here. Any person that's interested in investing, they just needed to finish lecture one, at least lecture one. And number two, the manual. There's a manual on my website. Read through it. It's going to take you 5 minutes. It's just going to give you a little bit of more info as to what is JCI and how we operate. And then, yeah, I'm excited to get any person part of JCI that's watching this. And for those that actually just want to learn more, that's exactly what I would have done if I was in your position, because you're getting free information that I had to read from a dozen of books that I'm just giving it to you guys, but I don't mind it. Lecture two and three, I'm also going to put out there with a little bit more info. And yeah, I hope that's gonna help you guys. And definitely, if you feel like you can teach me a few things, please get in contact with me. We can grab a beer, we can get something to drink, a coffee or something. Splay maar weg van die brandy off. And then yeah, we can have some fun. I hope there's a lot of people like this that enjoy these things that I talk about. There's a very small group of people that do what I do. So if you're out there, definitely don't be scared to make contact. That's the end of lecture one. I hope you guys learned something, and yo, I hope the Springboks are not gonna disappoint. You guys must have a good day further or night or wherever you are, and yo, I would love some feedback. Send me a DM or anything. All right, guys, talk later. Cheers.